First up, I know this video is a week late, but last week was International Women's Day and I did want to make a video of my 4 favourite female cinematographers. By no means is it the only 4 favourite female cinematographers, there's a lot more, but it's way too hard to put them all on a list, so I've just chosen 4 and I've chosen them for very different reasons and picked out certain skills that I like and certain things that I like about their work. I'll leave links in the description down below to some of their work, to their Instagrams and all of that stuff, so you can follow them as well and see what they do. In no particular order, number 1 is Rachel Morrison ASC. I love Rachel Morrison, not only because she's a female cinematographer working in a field that I'm very lucky to call my career, but also I just love how she paints with light. She makes her lighting really natural and matching the style of the film that she's doing. She's done a wide variety of stuff. 2 of my favorites, Mudbound and Black Panther, 2 very, very, very different films. Mudbound is an absolutely beautiful film. If you can find it and watch it, highly recommend. The lighting and everything about it is just so natural and it just draws you into the story. I remember reading in an old American Cinematographer magazine an article about Mudbound and what sort of camera and lighting package they used to get that look and that feel, and it was very interesting to read how long they actually waited around to get the right conditions. Similar to 1917, where they were waiting for cloud cover for their shots, they did a similar thing in this, where for their wide shots, to give them that dramatic effect and that oppressive feeling, they wanted to wait for those storm clouds to roll in. So they hung out a little bit, did some other shots until the storm clouds rolled in, and then they could get those really impressive wide shots, which otherwise wouldn't have been as effective. I also want to address her practicality towards anything she does. So there was mention in that article as well that they shot on anamorphics, but for the interior scenes or anything that had small candles or anything in shot, they decided not to use anamorphics. They went with spherical because the flares would have caused a distraction to the audience and it just would have not made it look as natural. Anamorphics worked great for outside with the beautiful landscapes and everything like that, but inside, there wasn't really much point. And that just goes to show that she's really thinking about how this affects the audience and how it affects the story, but still from a technical standpoint. And why do I like Black Panther? Well, I like comic book films, and I think it's amazing that she shot it, because you don't often see women shooting action or comic book movies or anything of that genre. And as somebody who wants to shoot that stuff and wants those opportunities open to me as well, that's even more inspiring. Well deserved, and I'm glad she got the praise for it. Number 2, Barron ACS. I've actually had the absolute pleasure of working with Ash once, and it was a really good experience. Such a great shoot, the whole team, everybody involved were amazing, but it was equally as amazing to just watch Ashley work. Yes, I was working, yes, I was second ACing, but being a second AC, you sometimes do get the chance to see how the DP is working and learn things from that. And it was really interesting to see how she worked things out in a technical manner to get certain effects and how quickly she did that. It was like it was second nature to her, working out all those calculations about shutter and exposure and trying to get a certain look, and she achieved it completely. She really focuses on the fine details as well, and she's able to put so much emotion into that. They just look stunning. So I love her for her creativity, I love her for her technical knowledge, and I love how much emotion she can put into the finer details of things. Number 3 on my list is Millwright ACS. I have had the pleasure of not only working with Katie once, twice, but 3 times. And the first time I worked with Katie, I was so scared because she's just such an icon in the Australian and especially the Victorian filmmaking scene, but almost as soon as I was on set, those fears were completely crushed. She was just beyond lovely. She's so nurturing of young people entering the film industry, especially young people coming into the camera department. She's so caring of her whole crew, the gaff team and the camera team, and she's just all round a lovely person. In terms of cinematography though, I really do appreciate the way that she's able to do things so naturally, and she knows what she wants and she knows how to ask for it. That's the main thing that I get from her. Nothing she does is done without a purpose. The camera choice, the lens choice, the framing, the lighting, everything has a reason behind it, which is exactly how it should be in this job. There is this one scene in particular which really shows this, and it's from a movie called Guilty that she shot. I'm gonna leave a link down below to the trailer so you can watch that, but if you can find it where you live, definitely give it a watch. We were reviewing the footage on one of the days that I was working on Guilty, and everybody crowded around this little laptop screen just to watch this one scene. Almost everybody was in tears. It was an incredibly emotional scene. I won't give too much away about it, but the camera and the movement and everything just worked together in harmony. it was so stunning. And when your work and your technical knowledge can evoke that sort of emotion, you really know you've really hit the nail on the head. And that brings me to the final DP on my list, and that is Mandy Walker ASC ACS. Double whammy. Mandy is a bit of a legend, not only at home, but definitely abroad. No, I've not worked with her. Would I like to? Hell yes, I would. I would love to just meet her. Have you seen the film Tracks? If you haven't, I'll leave a link down below so you can check out the trailer and hopefully you can find it where you live. Reading another American Cinematographer magazine article about Tracks, the lengths that they went to in that film to get a certain look that the director was after was just astounding. In a collaborative effort, the director and the camera team worked together with the camera rental house to build a custom lens that would get them the look that they were after. They were after a very poetic, painterly look, almost impressionistic, and they wanted to use the heat waves coming off the desert to help create that. Kind of voyeuristic, it makes it seem like the characters are being swallowed up by the landscape, and it kind of makes the landscape a character in itself. They shot it on film, they shot it on anamorphics, had a 2:4 aspect ratio, and just doing that really expanded the landscape, and it was giving it kind of like the Lawrence of Arabia vibe. So the choice to shoot on film, the choice to utilize particular times of the day to get the look they're after, protecting the exposures and the highlights, and then not over-processing the film. All of these things work together, all of these choices work together, and yes, not all of them were Mandy's choices, but she oversaw all of it and understood how to use all that to create a great image. To further work with the ideas of the director, she made all of the scenes that weren't flashbacks very stable. They had lots of different types of tracking vehicles and literally dolly tracks to make these long, drawn out, beautiful shots and really keep the audience in there. Juxtapose that with the flashback sequences, which were mostly handheld and kind of rough looking. It really does make for two very different sections of the film, but ultimately they still work together. So much thought and effort was put into making this film like a painting, and it really does show. I'm also very excited to see Mulan. So there you go, that's 4 of my favourite female cinematographers. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to check out that work, you can check it out below. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please remember to hit the subscribe button and like this video as well if you liked it. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you later.